Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seriously Loco, the Seriously Crazy fan podcast for El Paso Locomotive FC. I'm your host, Phil Bakke, and tonight I'm joined by Mikka Burrell. Mikka, how's it going?
It's going. Got another good one tonight in our little Getting Loco series, so
yeah,
it'll be fun.
Yeah, Getting Loco once again. We're joined as well by Christian Canales. Christian, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. One day closer to the season. I think we're at an even month at this point now, so it's getting more exciting every day.
Yeah, the anticipation building with each passing day. And as you said, Mikka, it is a big one tonight. We are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Lucho Solignac. Lucho, welcome to the show.
Hello, guys. Thank you for having me.
So, Lucho, your signing obviously kind of came about. It was I don't think it was predicted by many, but how are you finding El Paso so far? How are you settling in as you join a new side of the Copa Tejas rivalry?
Yeah, no, it's a great place. It's a bit quieter than San Antonio and other cities that I've been. So I think for this moment in my life, when I'm getting old for football, it's a good place to really focus on the job and my duties and enjoy other part of my life right now.
I know, Christian, you've got the San Antonio connection too. So you think El Paso a little bit quieter, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I went to school in San Antonio and lived up there for about 7 years.
Okay.
2019, but yeah, I don't know if you feel the same way, because you still are kind of getting settled here, but it was an easy move because I born and raised here, went to San Antonio and came back. But for me, it was easy for me because I feel like they're very similar cities. San Antonio is just a little bit bigger and a little bit noisier, like you said, but culture-wise, the people are all very similar. Do you feel the same way?
No, yeah, totally. I agree. But for me, I play in other cities. I lived in other cities like Chicago. So for sure, when I came here, also San Antonio, they look small for me, and it was something different that maybe when you are in Argentina and they talk about America, you picture more Chicago or New York than these kind of cities. But it's really comfortable. And like I said, it's a good place to be with your family, with friends, and really focus on your job and what I'm really doing here right now.
So you mentioned growing up in Argentina, growing up in Buenos Aires, obviously huge city and absolutely obsessed with the game. So what was it like growing up in Buenos Aires? Who was your club? What was the culture around your football upbringing? Yeah,
so in my family, it wasn't easy because I'm the youngest of 4 sisters. So imagine the football wasn't really in the family. So, but every kid in Argentina wants to be a soccer player. So I think that's a key on why our level in the country and in the world is so high. Is because there's so many and the competition is crazy and it's brutal. So everybody wants to be a football player, So that's really, as I would describe it, it's a crazy city and a crazy country about football at all.
What club did you grow up supporting? Do you have skin? I know Christian almost wore a River Plate kit, so I don't know. Did you have a rooting interest in the Super Clasico?
Yeah, I mean, so I always supported River more. I'm not a really crazy fan. I don't know if because maybe I'm involved and I play, or maybe because I'm not really too crazy about anything, no. But I always support and watch every River play games, yeah.
You got your start in your career at Platense, and so what was it like coming up through that academy, coming up and competing for a place in a Primera level side?
Yeah, no, like I say, it was brutal because there were so many kids and it wasn't easy because also in my family, my mom had at that time a different view about life, which I understood at that moment. Everything was about studying and getting a title and a job, So then suddenly you got a kid that wants to play football, and it's fine studying, but it's not what he wants to do for living. So it wasn't easy because every time I have a bad game, he would tell me you should study, and every time I have a good game, she would say, okay, maybe you can make it work, So my mood was always like this, but I always knew since I was a kid that I wanted to play football, and like I said, I don't have the talent of other guys, but I always work really hard because I knew that would take me hard. And to be honest, I've been in the academy with so many good players, much better than me, but they didn't have the consistency and the hard work. And I'm probably with me and maybe one other guy who made it professional out of hundreds in that time in that club. So for me, it's really special and that's credit for like I said, the hard work, But in Argentina, like I said, there's so many kids that wants to be, so you gotta have something else. It's not enough with the talent,
Speaking of Platense, correct me if I'm wrong, Lucho, but weren't they just promoted back up to Primera?
Yes.
So do you still follow Platense at all? And
Yes. I watch. Yeah, no, I watch every game, and also I live like 3 minutes from the stadium.
Okay.
So it's amazing because they've been in the second and then in the third division for almost 25 years. I think 25 years. So I have also a friend who works there. So for me, it was amazing because I live in the same neighborhood. I grew up with that club. It's the club that promoted me to the first division and let me do a career out from this. So for me, everything, it's amazing right now for the team. The people that is running it, it's doing a fantastic job. So I'm really happy for them.
You've spent time, obviously, like from there, you've spent time all over the world, really. And I think, Mikka, you had picked out a particular season from one of Lucho's seasons in Scandinavia.
Yeah, Lucho, I saw that you won the scoring title with 14 goals, all non-penalty goals with, I think it was ITK Mariehamn in the
Yes.
Finnish top flight. What kind of led to such a breakout season, I guess, for you and a standout individual performance? You think it was the tactics, your teammates, a little bit of both, your opponents, maybe the level of play? What do you think contributed to that individual season for you?
Yeah, I would say same. I think working really hard, but also I have a couple guys in the team which I really understood, and they really understood my game. Got a guy also. I don't know where he's playing right now, but he's part of the Finnish national team. Great number 10 gave me tons of assists. So it was a team achievement. Of course, at the end, it's my achievement, but I wouldn't never make it without this guy and of course other guys. So we have a really good season, a really good team, which help us and help me achieve that goal.
So spending that time in Scandinavia, you played in South America, obviously, before, and then you come to the U.S. with the Chicago Fire initially. You've bounced around a little bit since then, but what has been your favorite place that you've lived out of all of these places that you've lived around the world?
No, I would say Chicago. Chicago is for me, I still miss it, and I think it's, I always want to go back and live in Argentina because I spend so much time out that I miss friends, family, and the everyday life there. But Chicago is one place that I could, say I could live here. I could live here for a couple of years. Fantastic city, and for me that's I live in other places which are really nice, but it's just Chicago for me is the number one pick.
Phil will like that because he's from Chicagoland. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm originally from outside of Chicago, so yeah, I appreciate that answer for sure.
Great.
Yeah, love Chicago. So living in a place is one thing, playing is another. What's the best playing situation that you were in out of all of these different teams that you've played for?
Well, I would say if I think of the fans and having my family on the stands, of course, playing in the first division in Argentina was amazing. But of course, the clubs, many of the clubs don't have the structure the teams have here in America, maybe, and the facilities and many things. Chicago was special for me. I think I spent my best years soccer-wise in Chicago. We have also a great team. So I would say if I think on the atmosphere and everything, I would maybe choose Argentina, maybe Sweden as well, because people are also crazy about soccer there. And then if I look back, I really enjoy playing in Chicago as well.
Interesting. So if we fast forward a little bit to last season, at the end of last season, you had a great, abbreviated, as though it may have been, a great year with San Antonio. The season ends, and then you head off to Chile, and then all of a sudden, this news that you're signing with El Paso comes up, which was a shock to, a lot of people in the USL community. What can you tell us about that turnaround? How did that happen, or why did that happen?
No, so because of the pandemic and the virus and everything, many leagues have changed their timing and their schedule. So when I ended in San Antonio, my agent told me that there was a chance to jump to Chile for 2 months because they were still they were resuming the league, and they have 2 months until it was over. So instead of having 3 or 4 months of vacation and just training by myself and everything, I thought it was a great idea to continue competing. And then when I finished, I knew I would still have time to get in touch with teams in the USL because of the timing of the leagues. So that's what happened. As soon as it was over, my agent told me this opportunity about Chile, which was good because I couldn't see my family because of also the pandemic for a while. So it was a chance to go to Argentina for a few days, get settled, and then go to Chile, which was closer for my family to come and visit. So I didn't really have much to think about.
And when you get the contact, then were you down in Chile when you got contacted about signing for El Paso, and what was that process like, just getting the contact that El Paso was interested?
No, so I was so I remember another agent who brought me to San Antonio. He mentioned me that they were asking, for me. So I say, okay, let's see what happened, And then when I came back from Chile, when I was done with the other team, I talked to this guy and said, okay, I'm ready to start, getting serious about this conversation, because I think like when you're in a team, you have to focus first on that instead of before jumping to another and change your mentality. So when I was in Argentina, that's where I started talking with El Paso, and it becomes serious. And then I talked to Mark and everything, and I knew the opportunity was real, because sometimes in football, they tell you something and then the next day it's over, or they find another guy who is younger, cheaper, or whatever, and it's done, and it happened many times to me. So at this stage, I'm trying to take it easier and step by step.
Those initial conversations with Mark, like, what stood out to you that was, made El Paso a good option for you as a player?
First of all, playing against them last year, seeing how tough they were. Then when I talked to Mark, he gave me an idea of what my role would be, of course, and I knew they resigned many guys, and the core of the team was the same as last year, and this is exactly what I told Mark. I see there's a really hard team to beat, so I want to be part of it. That for me, having the ball, having possession, the way they play, and also the intensity, So those were all things that you made you want to be part of it, right?
One of the things that I think a lot of fans have looked for over the past couple of seasons has been a little bit more depth in attacking areas, and particularly at striker. Now there's almost a little bit of competition in those forward areas. So how do you find that? I mean, you spoke about the intense competition, obviously, in Argentina and everything, but is there a little bit of a friendly rivalry going on in early preseason now between you forwards vying for your starting spots?
No, I mean, I think, and I am a truly believer that the internal competition in the team is what makes you and the team raise the level, because you want to be the one starting on Saturday or whenever the game is. So in order to do that, you have to compete, but that makes that the other one wants also to be the one starting. So he raises his level. And at the end, we are all helping each other. At the end, it's Mark's decision who's playing. But I think it's a part of the business and what we do, and it's really important to have a competition, because sometimes it might happen that if you feel like you are gonna play every game, it's nature in the human that maybe you relax a little bit, but with having other guys running for your position or whatever, it makes it you kind of relax at all, and that's good.
You guys are into your preseason prep. You've played a few preseason games as well now. How's it going for you personally so far? How's that prep going? How are you gelling with the team?
No, it's fantastic. I mean, I feel I'm still adapting and knowing them, and also them not knowing me, of course. And I have a little bit some issues with my working visa at the beginning, because also of the pandemic as well, which is making everything a mess. So this is now the time for me that I'm really having trainings every day and weeks and weeks and weeks together with the guys, because at the beginning was maybe training 5-4 days and then traveling to other place and wait for the visa and then come back, train 2 days. And that's not good for a preparation for having a good season. So right now I'm enjoying training every day with the guys, getting to know them inside and outside the field as well. So it's good. It's going good. I still think there's work to do. Me personally, I still need to reach my best, which is important now, having many games ahead. I think we have time, so it's going to be good.
You coming into this new squad, like you said, I wonder if the players take note of the same things that us as the fans take note of, but you have a little bit of notoriety in the USL fan community because you accomplished something special last year in that you scored a 9-second goal. Yeah. So 2 things. One, is that something that do you feel like between players you're known for that? Is that something that they notice? And 2, are we going to see an 8-second goal for Locomotive this year?
No, first, I mean, maybe when you're outside and you see a guy score a goal like this, you just see it on social media and that's it. But then when you share a locker room, and that's different. You are one of them, and that's it. I don't think it changes the mentality of someone, because at the end you have to show it every. The good thing and the bad thing of football is that you are exposed every weekend, and you gotta show it. Doesn't matter if you score 8-second goals and then don't score any more goals during the season. So for me, the most important is that those goals can help the team reach what we couldn't reach, or the team couldn't reach the past 2 years. So, and about the 8-second goal, hopefully, I hope so.
We're timing it. So you talked a little bit about how the link up with the number 10 really helped you in that season where you won the scoring title in Finland. Tell us a little bit about that. What kind of a forward are you? Are you kind of like a poacher, a penalty box striker? Do you like to link the play? Are you target man? Are you a combination of those things? How would you describe your game?
I would say I'm a combination. Of course, you start getting older, not necessarily too old, but you change your game. You don't run as much as before or things like that, and you don't become so much physical. You don't get in contact too much with defenders because essentially you don't have the same energy as before. But I would say I really like to drop and make combination, which Mark also like. But I also in those difficult games where the pressure is high or whatever, I can be a target. I can win headers, which is great. So a little bit of a combination, I would say, yeah.
So along those lines, we always ask each player, like, what players either that you watched growing up or players that you've watched like throughout your career or known that you model your game after, or someone that you think of when you think of like your style of play that you model your game after. Who are those players for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I couldn't model the game of the players because they are playing in a totally higher level. But of course, you gotta watch someone. For me, always was Ibrahimovic. I remember watching every Inter game when he was there, and it was amazing. Then watching, of course, YouTube videos. But then I usually watch every top striker, Agüero, Lewandowski. But the one I really shocked me when I was a kid was always Zlatan.
It makes sense for a high quality striker. Although it does surprise me a little bit to have an Argentinian say Zlatan above all.
Yeah.
All right, so Lucho, just kind of maybe a silly question, but how are you settling in with the guys? Have you and Edor Borelli had a mate yet?
Yeah, no, not yet. We've been in conversations about it. Also, Leandro drinks it, but I'm a bit special. I don't drink it that much. I only drink it usually in the afternoon, not so much in the morning. And right now with the COVID situation, I'd rather not share the mate. So
yes, right. That's true. You don't want to have the same bombilla, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Eder loves to show up to the stadium with his mate, so we're wondering if we'll see you do the same.
Yeah, everybody told me he's obsessed. Yeah. I'm not too crazy. I drink it, but not too crazy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, we also, another big question that we ask, and obviously El Paso having like you said, moved from San Antonio, maybe it's a little bit quieter, but we always ask about the food and what's something good. Is there something particularly good that you've had particular to El Paso since you've gotten to town?
Not really. I got Saul from the team who, when he was driving me around the city, and he gave me, I took note of some restaurants, some steakhouse. So I have everything on the notes on my phone. So whenever I have some time off, I will start trying them.
Well,
if you're ever homesick, you can go to Garufa. That's a Argentinian restaurant. Garufa.
Okay, I check it out.
An Argentinian restaurant in town.
Okay.
Probably not nowhere near as good as what it's like back home, but maybe close.
Well, Lucho, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, getting to talk to you, and we're all extremely excited to see you turn out for the team. It was a big shock to us, as we said, when you were announced, and we're really excited to see you put some balls in the back of the net for Locomotive. How are you looking forward to playing in front of the fans and starting with a local derby as well?
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I think it's a great way to start and to prepare for that game. The motivation is higher than usual. So and also seeing that maybe we get fans back again in the stand, it's amazing because we do this, we play, and it's a job. But at the end, it's different, when you don't have the fans shouting and helping you also achieve the goals.
Yeah, the fans are excited to be back, I think, too, and we're looking forward to a big season from you and the rest of the boys, and I'm sure we'll be talking throughout the season as we see how you get on here in El Paso.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys again for having me. It was really fun.
Thanks so much, Lucho.
Thank you.
That was Lucho Solignac, new forward for El Paso Locomotive FC. You guys heard his approach, his style. I think he fits in really well with the squad, and I think an underrated signing in terms of the attention that's been paid in USL at large to the difference he can make in a squad. Lot of goals and assists with San Antonio last year. Really intelligent player. And you can tell from the way that he carries himself, just a real professional. And yeah, we're very excited to have him on board. And it'll be interesting as our Getting Loco series continues once again. You can check us out at Seriously Loco on Twitter, or you can subscribe to the podcast on any of the major podcast platforms. Just search Seriously Loco. And if you get a chance, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps. And we will catch you guys next time. Stay loco.